Now that way is very easy. Okay, you just have to go to the browser and write something like this, whatever I'm writing. Just write an ajax request, ajax post request, bus. Okay, that's it. And that's it. Okay, so this is a get request, there will be a post request too. Okay, just copy this page thing. And the ajax, if you don't know what is ajax, then ajax is used to make post and get request to http servers. You can use any language, you can use ASP.NET. Here we are using ASP, and here we are using PHP. You can also use it with Node.js, you can use it with Python, you can use it with Ruby on Rails, whatever language you like. Okay, whatever language of your choice. So it works universally actually. So right now I'm going to just copy and paste these things here, format it a little bit by my hand, and let me write the file where I want to send this OTP. Okay, this thing, this is the page name, this is the .asp page name, but right now we have a send OTP mail.php, so we are going to write that's location relative to the current folder. So it's going to be php_server slash send OTP mail.php, and inside here this is the object of data that we want to pass. We will say email address, then email address. Okay, it's so simple. And this is a callback function, this is a response from this file. Okay, so we are going to see it in the minute, but let me write it. Okay, email address. Now if you have studied a little bit about form submission in PHP and MySQL, so it will be so easy, okay, for you. So what we are going to do is we are going to take email address. First we are going to check if is set, and we are going to check $_post, and there is a email, actually there is a key which we are pressing, email address. Okay, actually, so this is the email address and this is the email address. Okay, so whatever you pass in the post object, it's going to be inside this post object. Okay, this is a super global in PHP. If you don't know anything about PHP, then you should know it. Okay, if is set, or let me write if is not set. That means if it is not set, that means it is not coming from an authentic source. Okay, so what we are going to say here is die. So this die function will not execute further script. Okay, it will just stop here and it will not execute further. Okay, so right now we have the die function running. If it is set, then we are going to take it into a variable. So let me write email equals to, or let me write it. Okay, so just use this email in the add reply to and the sender's or receiver's email address. Okay, let me write email. Okay, great. Now let me test if email is going or not. So for that I will just use a fake email address. For that I will load this page, fake email or temporary email, you can use that, your temporary email address. Let me just copy and paste it. So I will copy this, I will paste it here, and I will send OTP. Okay, so we are seeing the email address is valid because the email address is actually valid, and we have the alert function going on. Let me remove the function, I will press OK, I will reload the page, and let me just copy it again. Let me do this, and when I say send OTP, it should fire a trigger. Okay, so it should work, and you can see everything is working. Okay, this is the alert box, and from where this thing is coming, let me show you. This is the send OTP mail PHP function. Okay, whatever you are printing here, whatever you are echoing out here, it will be a response for this function. Okay, and you can see there is an alert. So that's why we are seeing all this data. And one more thing, if you have set up this SMTP debug at 2, so it is going to debug your application. That means if you are just testing that mail is working or not, it is for that. Okay. So keep in that mind. So if you are in production, then you will use 0 rather than 2. Okay. So 0 will not leave out this kind of messages. Let me show you again, and let me just refresh this page, and you can see that inside our mailbox it is coming. Okay, let me just generate another mail. Okay, so I will copy it, and you can see there are two mail that we are getting. So let me test again. I'm going to copy this thing and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so right now we have just disabled the SMTP debug, you can see, and I will click on send OTP, and you will see what will happen. It will take some time, and you can see the data is the email was sent and status is success, and we will say okay, and let me reload it. I think there will be 4 emails. Okay, there are 3 emails, no problem at all. There are 3 emails, you can see. Now what we are going to do is we don't want to display this much message. Okay, we will just display echo as 1. So whatever we echo out, I told you, you should remember this, whatever we echo out in this file will be the output for this function. Okay, for data for this function, not output. So that is most important thing. Okay, so let me just remove this thing, and let me just do console.log what is coming inside the data, so that we can check the status and update the state for the send OTP. Okay, so let me copy the mail again, let me paste it here, let me do send OTP, and it's taking some time, but you can see that we are logging it. Okay, let me zoom in it, and you can see it is 1. Okay, so and there are 4 emails. Okay, so this is working very well. Now one more thing that I want to tell you is, whenever someone submits a send OTP, then this button should be green. Okay, and it should be disabled. The whole thing, this email and send OTP should be disabled, or if not disabled, then it should resend OTP after 30 seconds or something like that. We need that kind of mechanism, okay, here. But right now, just don't care about resending it, because that is something that we will take care after whole thing completion. Okay, let me go and ask the Google how to button loading effect. I want a button loading effect, and this is the loading button. Not actually. Okay, so this is a kind of website where we can use, but I think I will use a code pen example if I can find loading button or something like that. I will happily use it. You can see this is a loading. We can use this. Okay, so a spinner or something like that, we can show a spinner. So this spinner is looking very good. So I'm going to copy it and use it. So first let me convert this SCSS SAS to CSS. I will paste it here and I will get it back. Okay, so let me paste, let me change its setting, and then let me try. Okay, so still it is working. What does that mean is everything is working fine. Okay, copy the CSS for that. We'll paste its CSS to index.php. I will also make a command so we can easily see where our spinner code start. Spinner in CSS. Okay, and then copy, paste. Okay, and also format it a little bit. so that we can see. Okay, so not much CSS. Where is the comment? Okay, so here is the comment. We will just make it something like this, so it looks awesome. Okay, now we also need this spinner div. So I will copy this div and I will place it next to the button. Let me go to site and then auth. Okay, so we want to place it here. Okay, so after the send OTP button, so I will search for send OTP and then we will place it here. Okay, let me save it and reload the page. So you can see it is looking good, but one more thing that I want to do is I want to make a more gap between these three elements. Okay, so let me inspect it. Let me select the whole div and let me say justify content align or justify content space around between or evenly. So evenly is looking very good. So I will just copy it and create a class above the spinner class. So let me create it. Justify content space evenly. Okay, so sorry. Let me make justify content even. Okay, this is a class name and this is a property. So I will use this thing, justify content even, inside my div. Okay, so let me see. Okay, justify content, oh sorry, content even. Let me reload the page. Okay, so it's not working, so there is some problem. Let me again check the class name. Okay, class name is same, still not working, so there might be some problems actually. Let me reload the page, or actually let me just select this thing. Okay, and you can see here class is not coming. So if I say justify content even, now it's looking good. Okay, so I don't know why class name is not coming, but there is some problem with the class name. Okay, so that's why it's not coming. Okay, so oh, actually I have to make this display flex gap small. Okay, not another class, so I just forgot it and implemented inside another class. So that was my mistake, sorry for that. Flex gap small, here I want to make it. Okay, so I will cut the, okay, I will cut this class and paste it here. Okay, let me load the page and yes, it is working. Okay, sorry, it was my mistake. Now what we will do is we have the spinner, so I can just stop this thing. Okay, what I want to do is I don't want to run the spinner or want to tell you that there is a spinner running right now. Okay, so what I will do is basically I will add display none to this class, to spinner class. Otherwise it will keep showing the spinner, and in the beginning it does not look good. Okay, even is also not looking good. Let me just change it to, there will be a lot of option actually. Space around, let me reload it. It's also not looking good, and there is a space around, space between. Let me see. Okay, now it's looking good, but it's looking actually okayish. Okay, if I do not apply this class, let me see how it is looking. So let me find the class, justify content even. Let me remove that. Let me reload the page, and you can see it is looking okay, right? So right now the spinner is not loading. No problem. So what we can do is we will display the spinner whenever we click on send OTP and the email address is valid. Okay. So let me check, and also send OTP, and here image will loaded. So let me see. Okay. Execute on until execute JS code until the function, the callback function returns a value in Ajax. Okay. So let me see. So okay, there is a success, and let me see the proper documentation for Ajax docs. Okay. So I will go here and Ajax jQuery API documentation. Ajax. Okay. So what we can do is whenever this is sending, what I can do is uh, I can just remove the class of display none on spinner here. Okay. So I can use something like this. Let me the jQuery CSS set, and I just have to replace the selector. The selector will be spinner. Okay. And it is a class. So I will make it dot. Here it will be display. Here it will be block. Okay. Or whatever it was, or initial, you can say. I will say initial. Okay. Now I will reload the page and everything is working. Okay. I will say dharmikjt6@gmail.com and I will send OTP, and you can see that the spinner is working very well. Okay. So let me reload the page. So once we get the data, whatever the data will be, then what we will do is change color of this button to green. Okay. So let me see. Change color of button to green, animated CSS code pen. Okay. Let me just check. Right. Okay. So this is going to looking good. No, it's actually same. So let me see. No, this is not also. So we can say change color of button, use animation CSS. Okay. CSS. I think it's really giving me the same output, and I really don't want that. In the not hover state, but I want to change on without the hover state. Okay. So just forget it. Let me go to the here, and let me also apply the gap. Okay. There is a gap property. So let me see gap small, and we are going to increase the gap by 15 or 14 pixel. Okay. Let me reload the page. And as we can see, there is a space, there is a more space between this, and I think if we apply more than this, still it will look really good. Okay. So now it is looking good. Now what we will do is whenever someone press on send OTP, if the OTP is invalid, then we are going to get this error. Okay. Otherwise we are going to send OTP and we are going to load this page. Okay. And make sure that people cannot change the email address and send OTP button. We are going to disable this whole thing. Okay. If the case is true. So let me go to email address, and then first let me see what data we are getting back. Okay. So I send the OTP, and in the console I will get some data, and you can see the data is 1. Okay. So it is looking good. So one is the name of the data, and so we are going to check if data equals to 1 or equals to 1, then we are going to make this again null, because for that we are really rendering this thing. Okay, and one more thing, we also want to disable this and this thing. Okay, so and one more thing, I will also make this hidden whenever documentation is ready, or whenever someone click on this button, it's going to first none. Okay, I don't want to make it big. Okay, let me reload the page, and what we will do is we will disable both email address and also button. So let me go email. So this is the selector for email, and disable email and send OTP button. I think you can see the comment because it's very light color. So let me add a CSS, or not a CSS, but add an attribute. Let me go add attribute jQuery. Let me see. Okay, this is working very well. So what I will do is, we'll say attr, I will say disabled as true. Disable, and I'm going to say true. Okay, you can also say true without the quotes. Okay, so let me do true without the quotes. Let me also copy this, and I will say send OTP button. Okay, so that no one can just click on the button for 100 times and it will break my server. So that is more important. I will reload the page, and I will give my email ID. I will press on send OTP button, and you can see it's really not disabling my thing. Okay, so I want to add a disable attribute jQuery. So okay, so I have to make this as disabled, not disable, and I have to make it on both sides, right? So let me make it. Okay, so I will reload the page. I will say ArrayOfSilicon, and I will send OTP, and you can see that this is disabled. Okay, most important thing. Okay, let me send OTP, and it's disabled, so we are not going to see it. Let me reload the page, and let me say ArrayOfSilicon. Then I will say send OTP, and you can see the spinner is running. There should be some output. If the output is 1, we are not actually logging it out. So if the output is 1, the spinner is going to be go away. Okay, and if output is 1 and spinner is going to go away, then we will also remove those two things, and we are going to make a validation like email address successfully email verified or something like that. Okay, we will remove this send OTP button, and we will say email verified successfully or something like that. We will insert it. Okay, we will insert the element. So let me see, is there anything that we can insert using jQuery? Using jQuery in HTML. Oh, it's actually getting started. How to add jQuery to HTML? No, insert jQuery in HTML nahi. Actually we want insert HTML in using jQuery. So let me see, add elements. We can use append, prepend, before and after. Okay, this is also available in pure or ES6 syntax. If you don't know that, then I will highly recommend going and knowing that thing.